A Black Lady Sketch Show is a hilarious half-hour sketch comedy series written, created, and produced by and starring the one, the only Robin Thede, who also serves as the showrunner on the hit series. I'm Rob Licuria, senior editor at Gold Derby, and I have the one and only Miss Robin Thede with me today to talk about this fantastic show. First of all, Robin, congratulations on 5 Emmy nominations. That's incredible.
Thank you so much. We are thrilled. We're thrilled. 8 total in 2 seasons. It's really, really cool. I'm so proud of our nominations this year, especially because we got nominated for writing and editing. And those are really tough categories to break into because we're not just competing against other sketch shows. We're also competing against all variety, all late night. So the playing field widens for us in those categories. So I'm so proud of my team.
Yeah, and Yvette Nicole Brown, Issa Rae also making it into guest actress. It's amazing, and I think you should be super proud of yourself and your team. But it's because season 2 was so strong, and I got to start off with this. Can we please talk about Dr. Hadassah? Because firstly, I think that we should have a spin-off of just her for an hour because she is ridiculous. Where did she come from?
You know what? She came out of the writers' room season 1. I didn't know I was going to be playing her, and her catchphrase, she repeats CCC over and over. She starts talking about something and she goes, see. And that came out because I lost my place in the script. And so the line started with C, but I lost my place from where I was. So I just started kind of doing that tick and the writers lost it. And so I was like, well, I guess I'm playing this character. Because we really don't write with our, we write with our cast in mind, but we don't write specific roles for the cast. Our cast is so versatile that we just write, 100 characters and then we all kind of audition internally to see who's going to play what. So yeah, I got lucky enough to have Dr. Hadassah become mine. And we've been having a lot of fun with her over the last 2 seasons. She's definitely someone who's going to speak what's on her mind, even with if what's on her mind is absolutely insane.
See, because I think in this day and age that we're all dealing with conspiracy theorists and, anti this and anti that, Dr. Hadassah, she's going to be front and center, man, because I was watching her the other night thinking, I feel like I've just seen this kind of thing on the internet with crazy people telling me that something doesn't exist. So, I mean, you've got so much to mine.
Totally. It's so true. In season 1, she was talking about different things than she talked about in season 2. Season 2, we opened with her on a Spike Lee dolly and she said, oh, you thought a pandemic was going to stop me? So, it's like she gets to spout all of those conspiracy theories that we see every day. We're scrolling through Twitter. And she embodies so many different types of people. I think some people see like different professors in her, Some people see different conspiracy theorists or even rappers. Like, she has kind of all of it in there. So it's fun to personify all of those wild things we get to see online every day.
Yeah. Now, she obviously features at the beginning of the episode entitled Sister, May I Call You Ocean? And that is the episode submitted to the Emmy voters for consideration. It's a great interview with Gabrielle Union, who's a really good sport in that one. Why did you pick that episode?
For that one, I think because there's so much dynamic. There's so many dynamic sketches in that episode. But yes, it begins with a parody of Red Table Talk, and it's Dr. Hadassah's Black Table Talk, which is an amazing time with Gabrielle Union. Like you said, she was such a good sport, but there's a lot of stuff in that episode that just kind of shows the variety of the show. A character I play named Chris, a guy who's a popular character on the show, is also in that episode. There's a bunch of just kind of the variety of us playing such a wide range of characters that we thought that would be a good one to submit. But every year it's tough. In season 2, it was tough to pick because we feel so proud of every episode. I mean, we made this show during the height of a global pandemic. We were one of the first shows back and we shoot everything on location. So, it's a particular challenge. It's not like we had the safety of a stage or anything like that. We had to be out in the world when the world wasn't open. So I'm just so proud of the team to not only have made an incredible sophomore season, but to have done so under those conditions. It's really wild.
It is wild, and also making us laugh out loud. It is so difficult, I think, these days to be able to laugh out loud on a show. It doesn't happen that often anymore. I'm so attuned to comedy. I think that I just smirk a lot. Your show actually makes me spit out my coffee, and that is so good, like so good.
Yeah, it's such a good feeling. We knew when we were coming back, we had written most of the sketches before COVID because we were about to shoot in March of 2020 and then we got shut down. So, like everyone did. So when we came back, I wrote that Dr. Hadassah open. I wrote the new opening credits. I wrote a bunch of kind of new things to supplement to make sure that we just filled the season with joy. We wanted people to be falling off of their couches with laughter. That was already our goal, but to double down so much. We do so much punching, not only in the writing process, but on set, and then a ton of improv. We have a sketch called The Last Supper, which kind of
Yeah,
details four women at the Last Supper who are in various stages of indignance because they're not at the big table. Three of them, and then Mary Magdalene comes along and rubs it in their face. But it's a really interesting sketch because we shot it like Succession on HBO, where we've got all these quick camera movements and these punch-ins. We really wanted the tension of that the silly arguments that they're having to really build. So we really on set just played with that and then continued to improvise our hearts out. Like 70% of that sketch is not on the page. We just made it up on the day. And what was on the page was already stellar. So, we just really wanted the joy that we were having, being able to see each other in the middle of this pandemic, the relief that we felt being together. We wanted people to feel that when they saw the show. And the other thing is, we knew that by the time the show aired in April of 2021, that we had hoped the pandemic would be over. We were wrong, but we knew that no one was going to say, oh, the show was good and we'll give them some grace because they shot it during a pandemic. No, it had to be better than season one. It had to be bigger than season one. It had to be funnier than season one. It had to be everything, right? Because you don't want to hit that sophomore season and people think it was a fluke. So we, and because people were so desperate to laugh, like you said, you're spitting out your coffee. That is what we want. We want people to be like, I did not see that coming. I can't believe they said that. That character is crazy. We want people to be constantly just wanting more.
yeah, that is gold. Like, gosh, just to be able to have that kind of vibe on a show is rare. And when you spoke to us in the past at Gold Derby, you mentioned that a key principle for the show is to blend grounded experiences of Black women living their lives, but in a magical reality. So blending genres, which I really do believe is one of the hallmarks of this particular show. So can you talk us through what you meant by that? Because I think it sets this show apart from many of the others in this genre.
Yeah, for sure. That's exactly right, Rob. We wanted to create, when I sold the show, I said, I want to make a narrative sketch series. I want it to look cinematic. And it was really important that Black women live grounded, relatable experiences, but in this magical reality. So if we're at the grocery store, a unicorn could be the cashier. If, it makes sense for the sketch, but you're still going to find something relatable because everybody grocery shops, right? So for us, it was really important because I think too often Black women are seen either as the strong Black woman stereotype or the subservient Black woman or the best friend or just some sort of tokenized one-dimensional character. TV is getting better about that, certainly. And of course, we have shows like Blackish and all these amazing shows that do such a great job of representing us. But for us in sketch, because you only have a few minutes, you only have 3 to 5 minutes to get that story across. It was important that we really drilled down on the relatability and the grounded nature, but the three-dimensional nature also of these women quickly, but then also making people, crack up laughing the whole time. So it's a thin needle to thread, but I've been doing sketch for 2 decades and we've got a great team who has a long history in sketch. And I think we've just kind of taken all the best things we've learned from everything that we've done in the sketch world and put them all together into one product.
Yeah, and the beauty of it is it also shines a light on the experiences of Black women, but without suggesting that it's a monolithic culture, just like any other culture, right? It's multifaceted. And to that end, are there any additional subjects or characters that you haven't yet explored that you are thinking about for next season?
So many, so many. That's the thing. You're exactly right. We're not a monolith. I think the funny thing is I tell people that a Black Lady sketch show shows the diversity amongst Black women, where most people, if they haven't seen the show, would think, well, what does that mean? How do you have diversity amongst Black women? But when you watch the show, you get it. We can play anything from the president to a murderer to, all points in between. So yeah, I think in season 3, we're going to be looking to explore, oh gosh, so many types of characters. There are people and personalities and genres. Not only the types of characters, but the places we can do, horror comedy, action comedy, just all sorts of things that we can really push. The indie film world, there's so many different styles that we can parody. The great thing is our show has a universal look in terms of which show you're watching, but every sketch has its own individual genre and style. So kudos to our directors and our cinematographer and our whole crew, because they work really hard to make everything look so beautiful and individual stylistically, but part of the whole.
Yeah. My final question is this, and it's something that I love to ask people who work in comedy predominantly, and that is, how far can you take comedy? For example, Ricky Gervais says you should be able to joke about anything. It's all up for grabs. On the other hand, someone like Nicole Byer, that you're familiar with, can joke about anything as long as it's funny. So there's a fine line between edgy and hurtful. And why are you joking about it? What's the point? Where do you sit on that spectrum?
Well, for us, we don't punch down, right? So we're not going to make fun of someone who can't defend themselves or isn't worthy of attack, right? And we're not really a mean show, so we don't really traffic in that anyway. I believe that humor can come out of kindness. I mean, that's not the motto of the show. We definitely are edgy and we swing for the fences, but where I fall on the spectrum is that I believe anything is funny as long as it's done in a smart way. I think that but I also don't think mean things are funny. So I think I have to step back and say, well, what's my definition of funny? My definition of funny is something that makes me laugh without guilt. So, in terms of being able to say anything, of course you can say anything, but I might not find it funny if it attacks someone or punches down. So to me, if you start with the definition that comedy should make you laugh guilt-free, then I think you can joke about anything. But I also think if you are going to be, that doesn't mean you can't be edgy. Like I said, my show is very edgy. I think you can be edgy without hurting other people, and you can be you can talk about delicate subjects without being offensive. I think some people mistake being offensive for being funny, and I don't think that necessarily is the way that I like to perform and write comedy. I like to do things that make people feel included and make people feel like they can laugh without judgment.
Yeah, I agree. When you feel icky and you're laughing at something, it takes away from the funny,
It's like, when somebody tickles you and you laugh, it's like you're laughing, but you don't mean to.
It's like,
And
yeah.
I think some comedians, will make jokes and the audience will laugh, but they're laughing because they're like, oh, I know they told a joke, but it was offensive, but I have to laugh because that's the body's natural physiological response. But I want guilt-free laughs. I want people rolling on the floor and spilling their coffee and quoting a character and carrying that with them and watching a sketch when they're having a bad day and sending it to their friends and seeing themselves in it. I want Black women seeing themselves, and more than Black women actually end up seeing themselves in the show. But that was the goal, is that Black women get to see themselves in a light where we haven't been portrayed before and get to laugh the whole time, which is the ultimate gift.
Good. So good. Thank you so much for joining us today. We're going to bring you back for our panel discussion.
Thank you.